The book version is colder. In Fire and Blood, the fall of King's Landing is told like a chronicle: causes, consequences, names, and rumors. Otto's end belongs to that historical machinery. The show turns that machinery into a room, a sword, a daughter watching, and a queen who has to make the choice with her own hands. The throne omen changes shape. One book detail fans watch for is Rhaenyra being cut by the Iron Throne as an omen against her reign. Episode 2 appears to move that symbolic function onto Otto's execution. Instead of the throne judging her body, the story lets her first act in power judge her soul. Alicent is trapped by her own bargain. The cruel elegance is that Alicent helps open the door to the capital, but cannot control what Rhaenyra does once inside. She thought in terms of survival. Spare Helena, limit the damage, remove Aemond from the city. But Otto's death turns surrender into a family catastrophe. Daemon's pressure matters. Daemon does not need to own the execution to shape it. His presence says, strength must be performed immediately. That is the poison in the scene. Rhaenyra has won the city, yet she is still being measured by the violent grammar of men around her. This change is risky because it makes the show less ambiguous than the book. But it gives the season a clean thesis. The Blacks can be right about succession and still become terrifying in victory. Otto's death is the first proof. Why? Otto is the perfect threshold. Otto is not the strongest green on the board anymore. That is exactly why his death works dramatically. Killing Aemond would be a military fantasy. Killing Aegon would be succession warfare. Killing Otto is different. It is Rhaenyra killing the architecture that made the usurpation possible. The old hand is old memory. Otto carries Viserys, the council, the slow poisoning of trust, and the legal language that turned family conflict into state policy. The show puts all of that into one body. When Rhaenyra faces him, she is not only facing a prisoner. She is facing years of being managed, doubted, delayed, and overwritten. Why Alicent's presence changes everything. If Otto died off-screen, the event would be plot. With Alicent watching, it becomes a wound that can keep producing story. Alicent made a bargain in the language of survival, but Rhaenyra answers in the language of justice and pain. Neither language can hear the other. A missing throne cut. Book readers know the Iron Throne has symbolic teeth. If the show postpones or replaces that omen, Otto's execution does similar work. It marks the reign at the beginning with a sign that power has accepted Rhaenyra, but only through violence. Why the scene feels intentionally ugly. A clean execution would let viewers relax into vengeance. The show keeps it emotionally uneven because the point is not catharsis, it is contamination. Rhaenyra is right to be angry, but the scene asks whether anger can become a governing principle without ruining the person who carries it. Adaptation risk. The danger is that the show makes the history too direct. Fire and Blood survives on contradiction. Television needs embodiment. By putting the sword in Rhaenyra's orbit, the adaptation trades ambiguity for accountability. That is a bold trade, and it will define how viewers judge her reign. Final read. Otto's death matters because it is not just a death. It is the show moving from succession argument into reign psychology. The question after this is no longer who has the better claim. It is what the better claim does once it has blood on its hands.